Our learning goal today is we can use lines, shape, form, and balance to create a kinetic sculpture in the style of artist Alexander Calder. The first thing we're going to do is make the stabile part. If you remember in the video, the girl Ollie talked about the part that did not move, so it stays. It's called a stabile. Cut out two shapes, and each shape needs to have a straight edge at the bottom. Otherwise, it's going to have a hard time standing up. And you're going to go ahead and decorate that. I did two different kinds just to show you. This is just a black and white only, and this is colors. You can do whatever you want, one of each, however you want to. You're going to make one slit or a cut from the top halfway down and make one slit or cut from the bottom halfway up. The important part is to keep your straight edge on the bottom. So here I started my slit. You can see that I cut it from the top, went halfway down, stop. Do not go all the way through, just stop halfway. Then the other one, I do the opposite. The opposite of top is bottom. So I start at the bottom, halfway up, and stop. Now I'm going to slide the two parts together and tape on the pipe cleaner. So I take it and I slide it together. Those of you who were here last year might remember doing this around Christmas. Last year we did some Christmas ornaments kind of the same way. And you might have to wiggle it back and forth a little bit to get it to stay just like you want. And that's okay. I'm going to put it, just kind of fiddle with it a little bit, but it'll stand up on its own. And so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to tape our piece on here. So I have my tape. This is the only piece of tape that we're using. Everything else is going to be held together without tape and without glue. The reason we're doing that is if we use tape, a lot of times it just looks kind of junky and it doesn't really look very nice to put it on with tape. And the other thing is I want you to learn different ways of making sculptures without using tape, without having to rely on that. So you can take your pencil to make a hook, and that's right there. Use a pencil to bend pipe cleaner into a hook. We never wrap around our fingers. You can use your finger to bend it, but we're not wrapping it around our fingers. That's not a safe way to use pipe cleaner. And then you're going to use 3 pipe cleaners. If you want to, you could cut your pipe cleaners in half. That would give you 6 pieces. You're going to cut out organic shapes. Organic shapes are shapes, we call them made-up shapes. They're not triangle, square, or rectangle. You're going to use a pencil to poke a hole in the shapes and then put them on and try and get it to balance. So what you're going to do with your shapes is you're going to take your shape and, sorry, my shape blew away here. You're not going to hold it up in the air like this. You're going to put it down on the ground. If you imagine it's down on the table to poke a hole through, but you're going to put it down on the table. My camera's not going to reach that far. So I make a hook. And now I can decide how I want to balance. Do I want this to go all the way through? Do I want to be off here part way? You can decide. If you want, remember kinetic means to move. If you want your sculpture to be able to move, you're going to make 2 loops, with room that it can move back and forth. Remember, if you do that, it's not going to be able to stand straight up. So if you want something to stick straight up and not fall over, you're not going to want to do this. But if you want yours to be able to move, you will. If you do want it to say stick straight up or stand straight out, you're going to twist it like you would a twist tie on if you ever had like a loaf of bread, a bag, you just twist it. Just be careful, the ends are sharp. And then you can pretty much position it wherever you want and have it stay. And then you're going to hook your pieces onto it. Again, you can take your pencil or you can use your fingers to make kind of like a hook shape. And then take your shape and stick it on. And now this is the tricky part, but it's also the fun part. You get to try and make it balance, so it should stay up on its own. Now as you're adding the parts, of course, it's not going to balance all the time, and it's okay to wait till the end to balance it more. Like right now there's only one shape on this side. I'm surprised it's not leaning more. It could lean way over, and that's okay because you're going to make a shape on this side to balance it out. So I want you to try different ways to do it. You can look at the posters in the front of the room to see different ways to try and make yours balance.